Cariboo Weather Dude YouTube channel here on the YouTube, like I just said. It was such a good Cariboo Weather Dude, and then I was so impressed by my Cariboo Weather Duding that I was like, what do I say next? Oh, like a deer in the headlight. Welcome back to the channel this morning, people. And it's crazy, Joey, only up here in the mountains in the Cariboo here. Looking at low weather in British Columbia, things are mostly fairly calm this week. We had a little bit of disturbance coming through over the night, which could put some flurries down in to Wednesday, and it looks like Friday we have a stronger chance of snow signal, as we were looking at last episode here, figuring that probably by Friday we're going to see some more significant snow. I'm still not convinced it's major snowfall. What's the difference between major and significant, Joey? Well, you know, you could have significant without it making everything bad a lot, I guess. Bad news show here. Let's go!
There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later.
Water.
They try mopping this.
Yeah, I've just been kind of in hermit mode here, you know. It's like no one's around, no one to talk to. Yeah, I already struck out with a girl this year, so that means that's my one for the year. That's pretty much the average. How many people I meet in a year that I'm like, wow, she's great. And if I strike out, I'm like January 1st. I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be a long year. So that's, you know, got to keep myself occupied around here. Keep myself occupied, thinking about what my future entails, making some plans for my future, including, well, you know, family stuff that I can't talk about right now, but someday I'll maybe let you in on a little bit of that. But also, I'm looking at possibly maybe this job opportunity here. So we'll see, you know, what this would do, how this would change Cariboo Weather Dude, I don't know. But I do qualify for this program, and they would train me how to be a meteorologist and put me to work for Environment Canada, and I think I'm exactly who they're looking for. So we'll see. We'll see on this. We'll see when we get there. Okay, speaking of Environment Canada, here's what's going on out there today. Okay, up to the Haines Junction, White Pass, places like that. Blowing snow, snowfall warning. Yeah, Pleasant Camp, that's called there. 20 centimeters still now until this morning, so that will mostly be done pretty soon. That story is almost over. This first round is about wrapping itself up. 20 centimeters falling through the Pine Pass. That might last until midday. Up on the north coast, we got 110 kilometer-hour winds that are expected. The strong funnel system across the north coast is generating strong southeasterly winds today. We have weak Arctic outflow conditions continuing along Highway 1637, Nass Camp area. Warm air aloft and sub-zero temperatures will lead to an episode of freezing rain in many inland valleys there. Warmer air is expected to push in sometime this afternoon. That could change things over to rain showers when such things happen. A little further north is a snowfall warning up on Highway 37 and 37A for Stewart, Mesiaden Junction, and parts of those areas. 15 centimeters there. Could see wet, slushy snow. You got a bit of a warm-up coming there as the frontal system brings heavy snow mixed at times with rain to the region. Beginning tonight, overnight especially, surface temperatures will likely hover just above the freezing mark, leading to uncertainty in exact snowfall locations. What about the rest of Canada right now? Quick look at the rest of Canada. We got fog advisories down there in Vancouver. Nothing big going on up there. Blizzard warning up along the Nunavut coast, so prepare yourself for that if you're up there, or you've probably been in it for a while. 45 to 50 below temperatures in the very, very northwestern sections of Ontario. Some of that cold still up to 45 below. Oh man, you go down towards Lake Superior, 40 below. So everybody in Ontario, if you are in the north especially, expect this until Wednesday morning. Some very, very bitter cold snow squall watches. We've had so much snow squalling off of the Great Lakes. So as I've been explaining to you how the warm lakes, they create condensation, right? And the cold air cannot hold the moisture, so it very, very quickly will fall back to earth as snow. So that's what's been going on, and flurries there through the day. However, stronger snow squalls off Lake Huron are expected tonight and Wednesday. The activity should weaken late Wednesday night. Local snowfalls of 15 to 25 are expected with higher amounts possible. With the weather pattern change, a little bit of a change in the avalanche conditions there up in the northwest sections. We got a high for Tuesday, so if anybody you know is up there right now sledding around, make sure they know 15 cents expected. It might cool off for a day on Wednesday, but Thursday should be right back to high conditions, extreme conditions for avalanches in British Columbia interior. However, that's not the case everywhere. In fact, although the Cariboo's a little bit worse than it was, say, last weekend, we have like very low probability in some parts. That just speaks to how little snow there is in a lot of places right now. Unstable snow in isolated areas, it says. However, we're not talking even Fernie, not looking at major avalanche conditions right now. Here's what the Avalanche Canada forecasters are saying. Funnel system near the Alaska Panhandle is pushing southeastward across BC today, bringing moderate and heavy precipitation, strong to extreme southerly to westerly ridgetop winds in the province. The region's receiving its highest precipitation. That will be the northwest coastal ranges. Who will be that? Brief drying trends expected Wednesday as a ridge of high pressure builds over the interior of BC. So you're going to have some of this spill over through the nighttime, a little bit of flurries. But by the time we find ourselves into Wednesday proper, mostly we should see a bit of a drying, clearing trend. So that is more or less the situation right now. You can see the disturbances off the Pacific coast. Long line of them from Oregon straight on to just north of Hawaii. Another big low there beginning to form off of Japan. Probably going to be the next one we'll see come flying across here. Unremarkable now, but this low is now into Alaska, and it's changed conditions. It's warmed things up there considerably. It seems like we got our storm that's now beginning down in California. This one down here, this one's really important because, I didn't understand fully what was going on, I guess, the other day. But this low pressure system here is the one that's going to create the Santa Ana winds. And it's those Santa Ana winds that are going to be wrapping up around from this way that are going to increase the chance of extreme fire potential in Southern California, northern Mexico, and whatnot over the next few days. Very dry down there. Very concerned for their fire potential. As you can see, temperatures raging across the United States. Only 3-4 degrees reporting down in Texas right now. So chilly cold, breaking out all the way across the continent. Here in BC, we're kind of sitting pretty nice. Quesnel's only at 0 degrees right now. Really? Wow. Minus 2.2 here in Wells, thanks to the weather station from Diggy's Diner they put here. We got lots of 30s out there. Well, not lots. I guess with Big Trout Airport, 30, and some 27s, and some 30s as you go up to Churchill's, 32. Arviott's 36, 37s, and 38s at Rankin and Baker. So pretty chilly further up north. But as you can see, there's been a big change where even Withers Lake is at 0. Mayo's at -1. Mayo 2 nights ago was -49. So this is a 48-degree change so far, and that's early in the day. We could still see it warm up a little bit further yet in Mayo. So Mayo may be looking at a 50-degree change in its weather in just 48 hours. That's really, really remarkable, really incredible. -1 in Whitehorse. So even in these areas, even Burwash, these areas were extremely cold. We got one -21 hanging out there Northway. Northway. I'm not sure what that's about. But you can see how the storm's pressing in and really bringing the Pacific moisture, bringing the pineapples up. And cloud deck over BC today. And here we're going to watch the sunrise over North America over the last 12 hours. Here's what our weather looks like. We got some storms heading out towards Europe. We got a lot of cloud cover over North America, although conditions are generally pretty nice. BC, you can see this, it looks like the stream from the atmospheric river kind of weakening as it slides down the coast and running out of steam. That storm is dying off is what it's doing. It was pretty strong when it pounded up into the Alaska. However, that is over for the most part, and we just have now some, kind of the lingering effects of some of these stories continuing on. A bit of wind on the coast, bit of snow up in Haines Junction and things like that. But all in all, I think we're kind of getting out of this. And you can see Windy's got their new version out, and the satellite images look absolutely awesome. So really, really cool. You can even see at Hollywood Burbank Airport sitting 81 kilometers an hour winds there. So that's some of that stuff we were just talking about. Some of those unpredictable Santa Ana winds that may be happening this week in California that could lead to some very, very extreme fire conditions. Meanwhile, in BC, we got some 70 kilometer hour winds at bottom tip of Haida Gwaii. So windy today, but I think most of these stories from this guy, I mean, this is a week, you could see it weakening off as it comes sliding down. As it does, sending a bit of snow into northern BC, a little bit through the Haines Junction White Pass. That will end for you guys eventually. You can see the tail of the atmospheric river reaching all the way down to this new low that's trying to form, and it's going to chase up towards us. And so it's, sending some snow to the coast today. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of precip, a little bit of rain for Vancouver Island for sure. A little bit of snow north of Prince George, maybe a little bit tonight into the Cariboo Mountains here in Wells, although I don't think, probably not going to see much of that in Williams Lake or Quesnel. I think it's going to be probably more east of you. It's not out of the question. Going to watch these snowfall here slide down in the isobars, and a little bit of freezing rain possible overnight along the coast mountains. So yeah, this is happening, but this isn't a big story. This is pretty much exactly what we saw when we looked at the forecast there last time. This band of snow moving through down to -9 at night in Williams Lake by the morning time. See that band moving through, but it's not a 30-centimeter snowstorm story. This is a line of snow dying off on its way through over the night and dumping a little bit, sure. 5 or 10 centimeters maybe in some places. It's possible, but again, we're not talking. Most of you aren't going to really see this because most of you don't live in parts of BC where that snow's coming. However, look at this big tail on this guy. Here's that lightning we had all talking about there last episode here, talking about how we could see some lightning storms off the coast tonight. That's a little bit further south than we were looking at last time. But as you can see, Thursday morning now, that storm is punching itself up into the Alaska Panhandle as per usual. We got that as a warm-up continuing up there. This nice stream of atmospheric river sending a lot of new snow into the Alaska mountains. Going to be good for you. Northern BC taking its snow on Thursday. So southern BC remaining fairly dry. This large atmospheric river tail seems to want to keep moving and moving and moving. It's not stalling in one place. However, by Thursday, again, back towards Bella Coola, back towards Terrace, back towards northern tip of Vancouver Island. Might start seeing some flurries in the Cariboo Thursday afternoon. I think up by Pine Pass, more likely. North of Prince George, more likely. We're looking at snow up there for then. Looking at some heavier snow for Bella Coola at that time. Still, southern interior looking pretty good. Coming into Thursday overnight now, looking at Friday. You can see that has really moved its way down into the Whistler area more or less for Friday morning. Big time rain on the coast down there. Snow in the Cariboo Mountains. Snow heading its way down to Revelstoke by Friday morning. Could see some slippery driving conditions in some of the mountain passes on Friday. If you're a trucker, if you're driving, you got travel plans, be aware that Friday is probably the worst day of weather this week we got to speak of. I think that's all in all. I mean, we are kind of into a normal January pattern here where temperatures are fairly seasonal right now. Nothing too extremes going on. We're not getting big time snow into the BC interior. We're getting some snow squalls. We're getting some flurries. We're getting some moments of weather. But, all in all, we're not really into a really terrible situation here in terms of where we're going this week for precip for bad weather and this and that. So we'll be looking ahead, I think, as we get going towards, the weeks coming to see when, and, look at this big northeaster again out to, they've been just getting smacked consistently on the East Coast. So we'll be kind of paying attention over the next few days to see if there's anything really meaningful to talk about on the weekend. Doesn't seem like it. No, seems like this next storm is going to lash itself up by maybe overnight Monday into the Alaska once again, maybe make some more unsettled conditions for us in the province. But again, nothing major wind stories until maybe sometime next week. If we can take a direct hit from this snowstorm, maybe next week we'll start seeing a more significant, meaningful, impacting storm into the interior BC. But so far, the models aren't really giving me much to look at to make it really easy for me to decide how things are going to really play out. So where's snow going to be this week? A little bit of snow in the United States, snow in eastern Canada, snow in BC Thursday in the mountains, not so much in the interior, maybe a little bit Friday into the southern interior. that could be our best chance of snow in the next little while. Looks like skiffs of snow really across Canada. A new storm forming this week that's going to make its way from Texas on across. So you can see those cold temperatures down there going to induce a bit of snow down into places that generally don't see snow. So does that mean we have tornado potential down there when that happens? I'm not sure about that because there's not very much land to work with between where that cold is and where the thunderstorms can actually manifest themselves could probably maybe out to the Gulf more and more, but I don't know. I don't forecast for there, so I'm not going to guess too much. But just getting a kind of a peek that you can see now. A little bit of snow is visiting a lot of places in the continent, and we will get our turn. Next week, watch that. Did you see that? Bam, Tuesday. That's when our next storm comes. So we're gonna take a direct hit from a storm probably next week. And until then, I don't think we have a whole lot of weather stories in BC. It's like our temperature's not bad. We're not getting crazy wind. You look at the Great Lakes and some of the insane snowfall totals that are possible there, 60 centimeters in maybe the Rochester area of New York, right? Big time snow up into areas like the Torn Gap Mountains and such of that in Newfoundland, big time snow in the BC coast, extreme snow through Alaska, quite a bit in southern Yukon. Significant storm system moving across from Texas and whatnot, and in the American West even some larger snow totals showing up in the mountains there. So yeah, over the next until between now and Tuesday the 21st of January, we are looking at some real winter weather in North America. But for us in BC, we got this big warm-up that's been going on, and the warm-up has begun up to 2 degrees tonight, 3 degrees. So I mean, you guys up in the Peace, you're going to be so overjoyed to see this change in temperature. Like we were just talking about how Mayo went from 49 below to essentially 0. It didn't get that cold in Fort Nelson. I know it got into the 30s a couple times, but even then, that 30-degree temperature shift is going to be really significant. Pretty warm on Thursday afternoon for most of BC. Pretty warm in the Peace through the nighttime. So we're really into a bit of a January thaw. For a lot of us here in Western Canada, the Chinook visiting into Alberta, we're not really dealing with extreme January temperatures at all in BC. We have that potential for Ontario. We got that potential. Wow, look at this. Down by areas like Colorado. Is that Colorado? Where is that? Yeah, it's Colorado. Could see some 15s and 20s in Colorado. That's pretty good. Most Americans don't know anything about Canada, and I know where almost every one of their states is. It's like that's part of what being a good weatherman is having geographical understanding, and that's something I've come into handy often in my life. I don't get lost too much. Another outbreak of cold by this weekend for you, Manitoba and Saskatchewan. I'm sorry, minus 28. That's what you're going to get this weekend coming. So that's not too nice considering that BC, we're sitting above 0 for lots of places during the day. We are the garden spot. Oh, wow, look at some of that nice. There's even oranges in there, yellows and oranges, 6 degrees. So big shift in the temperatures, man. You can see that terrain of warmth coming on up, right? And this is also that next week, Tuesday, that's exactly when we expect that next storm to come in. So you can see how the subtropical moisture and the warmth work together. And that's so much part of our Pineapple Express, our atmospheric river system that is a very prominent, weather delivery mechanism for here in BC. Oh, in Saskatchewan, after that extreme cold, you're going to go from well, look at that, 28 belows and things like that, 22 belows, and you're going to be finding yourself up above 0 again this week as well, coming next week. So lots is going to be going on. Keep tuning in here every day. Also, my new short movie, Cutoff Creek, is here on the channel right now. Make sure you go and check it out. Check Cutoff Creek. Go have a look at that film because part 2 comes out tomorrow at noon here on the channel. I got more things coming out all the time in the channel because we got better technology now to work with. This new program, so good for me. And I really just got to thank everybody. Everything from this microphone I'm speaking into, the camera that's recording right now, my microphone's plugged into an audio box that feeds into my computer. That and the computer have been paid for you people in the past, so thanks to everybody who supported this channel. You've made this channel possible. I was just a guy 4 years ago thinking in 2021, I guess it was, I wouldn't mind saying more to the world. I get lonely here. I guess it would be good for me, and and I think people would benefit from my weather knowledge. And maybe I'll make a YouTube channel. Hey, Frankie, you want to make a show? Wow, it worked. It's happening. So none of this was ordained by the universe. I got dog hair on my hat. I should wear one of those new hats Lana gave me. Anyways, that's just me thanking everybody for all the donations, the patrons, the channel members, and even those of you who can't afford to do anything, you like and share and subscribe, and you show up every day to watch the videos, and I thank you very, very, very much for that, because, we've definitely seen, since the American election, my numbers started going down fast, and 2 months ago, I'm at about half for revenue and views that I was 2 months ago, so... it's a bit of a tough time here in the channel, but I've also had different kinds of growth in that time too. So you take it as it comes. I think this is how it actually goes in the YouTube world. It goes up a little bit, then down, and then up a little bit higher, and then down back to where that last up was. So it's like sometimes I think I'm on the downturn right now. I'm hoping to see that come back around eventually. Good things should happen to good people once in a while, right? Okay, bye.